Welcome back to our legal podcast where we unpack the law behind the headlines. My name is Fatin Salihah and today we're diving into a Malaysian case that's a masterclass in what happened when due diligence goes wrong. Today's case is TNL Park, Sdn Bhd and Ng Kiwei and others. It's a tangled web of impersonation, caveats and personal negligence where two law firms failed their client and the court had a lot to say about fiduciary duty. So today our guests are Siti Nur Khatijah and Nur Syahirah, and both of them are lawyers of conveyancing. Thank you for coming to our broadcast. How are you guys today? Okay, I'm glad to hear that. So first of all, can we start about the facts of the case? Can you tell us exactly what happened in this case?
So actually in this case, TNL Park Sdn Bhd as the plaintiff entered into an SPA with the first defender for a piece of land. But the first defender was not the actual owner because the real owner had passed away and someone had impersonated the deceased or the owner of the land. But actually the worst part is the solicitor acting for the purchaser failed to carry out adequate due diligence because he failed to properly verify the title, the ownership right, encumbrances, and or whether all necessary approval were in place. So, as a result, the purchaser suffered loss of 4.52 million ringgit. So in this case, the court found the solicitor negligent for failing to act with reasonable skill and care, and this case actually remind us that due diligence is not just a checklist, it is a duty because a lawyer must verify ownership, check the encumbrances and protect their client interest from day one.
Wow, that's a powerful reminder. Many lawyers underestimate how fast things can go wrong when caveats are delayed or search are skipped. It's not just about speed, it's about precision. Honestly, it's quite shocking, and what really stands out to me is how preventable it was. Like a simple update land search could have revealed the caveats. So it makes me wonder, are we sometimes too reliant on routine, and what due diligence means in practice?
Okay, that's such a good point. So I think as a lawyer, sometimes we do fail into routine, especially when handling multiple transactions. But due diligence is exactly what keeps those routines safe. And in legal terms, due diligence is a process where a solicitor carefully checks all the legal details before completing a property transaction. For example, verifying the land title, checking for caveat or encumbrances, confirming ownership, and making sure all approvals are in place. It's not just about ticking box, it's about protecting your client from legal and financial risks.
That's right. It is the lawyer responsibility to make everything valid and legal. That include confirming that the seller actually owns the land, checking there are any charges or caveats, and ensuring that the sale complies with the National Land Code, National Land Code 1965. Because based on this case, the TNL Park Sdn Bhd case, the seller lawyer released 3.12 million ringgit before the transfer was registered, even though caveat was already there. The caveat was already lodged. That was breached the stakeholder duty. Legal representation is not just about drafting documents, it's about anticipating risks, advising clients, and ensuring that transactions are legally sound. If the lawyer had done a fresh land search, they will have seen the caveats and realized something was off. That one step could have prevented the dispute. So the due diligence is really about being true, cautious and protective. It is the foundation of responsible legal practice because when they fail, the consequences are not just financial. They erode the trust in the legal system.
Yes. I think that is something law students and junior lawyers need to hear. Due diligence isn't just a checklist, it's a mindset. It's about being proactive, not reactive. Trust between client and lawyer is deeply personal.
Yeah, that's right.
When trust breaks, damage goes beyond financial, which it can impact reputation and confidence in the profession. So by looking at TNL Park, what did the court decide? And what losses did the plaintiff suffer?
Okay, so actually based on the case, the court ruled in favor of the plaintiff, and because the court found that both plaintiff solicitor and the first defendant solicitor had acted negligently, and the lawyer failed to conduct a proper land search and also didn't lodge a caveat in time. And while the first defendant lawyer released 3.12 million ringgit before the transfer was registered, even though the caveat were already in place.
Yes, that's right. Because of this negligence, the plaintiff suffer a total loss of 4.52 million. That include the balance deposit of 1.4 million plus 3.12 million balance purchase the price. The court emphasized that solicitors have a duty of care to act in their client's best interest. I think this case is quite straightforward because it shows that how one misstep can lead to a massive financial consequences, right?
Yes.
Oh my god, that's a huge loss, and it's a reminder that legal duties are not just technical but financial, ethical, and deeply personal for the client. So actually, I'm a bit wondering why legal representations is so important in property transactions.
Alright, so actually, having a qualified lawyers mean your rights are protected, documents are valid, and also your money is handled safely. Actually, in this case, the lawyer did not properly check the title of the property to confirm whether the first defendant had a valid right to sell the property, and they also failed to verify if there are any encumbrances, caveat, or other interests registered in the title. So actually, no proper land search was done in this case, and the land office record was not examined thoroughly, and that's where thing that starts to go wrong, right?
Yeah, exactly. Lawyers play a key role in advising client, preventing fraud and ensuring compliance with the law. Without proper representation, client can easily fall victim to misrepresentation because they don't have knowledge or illegal transaction. Just like this, in this case, where the lawyer proceed with the sale and purchase agreement without confirming all necessary approval or consent, for example, from the land office or developer. And because of that, the whole transaction end up being legally defective or unenforceable.
So I think clients often assume that if they hire a lawyer, everything is automatically safe. But lawyers have to earn that trust through diligence and communication. So what can we learn from TNL Park and Ng Ki Wei?
So in my opinion, firstly, solicitors must always perform due diligence before any property transaction. Secondly, for clients, clients should always seek a proper legal representation. Never sign or pay anything without consulting a lawyer. The court made it clear that lawyers are not just a document processor. They carry a professional duty to act carefully, to verify facts and safeguard all the client's interests at all times.
Yes, I agree with Ms. Khadijah because this case also reinforced key legal principle whereby under section 378 of the National Land Code, lawyer must ensure that the land record are accurate and that transfer are properly registered. And also in this case, the court referred to the previous case like Pushpalila, whereby in this case, the court highlight the duty of care owed by the solicitor, and negligence is not just about mistake, it's about failing to act when you should act like that. And in property law, that can be very costly. Yeah.
I love that point. So failing to act is still a decision. And in law, silence or delay can be just as damaging as a wrong move. So as we are in the last segment, what advice would you give to lawyers and clients based on this case?
So in short, due diligence is not just a formality, it is a safeguard. Lawyer must act carefully and client must be proactive. When both do their part, legal problems in this case can be avoided entirely, you know.
What about you, Ms. Syahirah?
Alright, that's right, just like what Ms. Khatijah said. Lawyer must always conduct fresh land research, lodge caveat properly, respond to correspondent and never release a fine until the transfer is registered. And for me, for the client part, please don't rush. Ask your lawyer about risk and make sure they explain the process and never sign or pay without proper legal advice. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Syahirah and Katie. I like to add the last point, which clients should feel empowered to ask questions. Legal representation isn't just about handing over responsibility, it's about collaboration. To wrap up, TNL, Park and Ng Kiwei isn't just a legal dispute. It's a lesson in diligence, ethics and also responsibility. It reminds us that lawyers are not just service providers, they're protectors of the justice. So, and clients must be proactive in safeguarding their interests. Thank you again, Ms. Syahirah and Ms. Khatijah, for your insights, and thank you to our listeners for joining us today. So we'll be back next week with another case that shapes the way we practice law. So until then, stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, due diligence is not a formality, so it's your first line of defense.
Bye!